Welcome everyone to the Inspiration House. Today I'll be giving you a tour of the old home that I purchased approximately 8 years ago, and it was a foreclosure and in much disrepair. I actually decided to renovate the house, and I would do that as I could, as money allowed, of course, and do that lovingly with Ryan in mind. And I would utilize all of those things that so many people have discarded and we cherish. Everything was furnished from Craigslist, Goodwill, his house, with the rare exception of some of the things that I had brought from my prior home and I had spent some money on at wonderful furniture stores. The house has Ryan's imprint on it. The curtains are homemade. The pillows, for the most part, are homemade. And everything is coordinated with a color that would have begun with purple. It is a historic home. It has old pocket doors, and sometimes I imagine people must think that some rooms are reminding them of a French bordello, but it's signature Ryan. It's romantic, it's imperfect, and perfect, to be quite honest, in its imperfection. You see the old typewriter that so many of you see in our videos, and that's an old Underwood. As I come around, this room actually is the master bedroom downstairs. And I'll come back around and show you the master bath. The house flows beautifully, and I have all of my quirky things that when guests come, they always have questions about. And there's always a story behind. I'll come back around again and show you the ghost that I've shared with many of you. This photograph is a reproduction of the original that was found in the basement. And if only that photo could talk, I'd love to hear the story. Okay, we will go into the next room now. As you know, I have utilized this old home as my refuge, but also as an Airbnb. I've done that since November, and it's done quite well. I wasn't quite sure what to expect in Newberry, South Carolina, but I love this town, and I thought if I could just get people here, they would appreciate the old world charm and the story behind every piece that I have. It's been most interesting that young people have actually really enjoyed coming to the house. I'm trying to give you every view. And even children. It seems that people are actually wanting to relate to something, something that's beyond the normal trivial things that they encounter day in, day out. I think everyone's becoming tired of things without meaning. And so they grasp anything that has a story behind it. And this old house most certainly has a story. I'm going to walk on around. The sun's shining. I didn't close the blinds. These cabinets have that old window or old glass that you can see. And I store those things that are meaningful to me. Things that Ryan has given me over the years. Old photographs, old books, old dishes, rocks, leaves, flowers that he picked when he was so young. I have it all, and I cherish all of it, as you can imagine. Here is the dining area. Has a fireplace. And before I go there, we'll go on around here. Little sitting area. And my basement that I keep locked, just in case those ghosts that live downstairs might decide to want to come up, as if that would keep them away, but it makes me feel a little bit better. This table is a remarkable table. It actually came out of an old house from a floor in a house in Newberry that was torn down. And the table was salvaged by a friend's son, and it's one of the pieces that I love most, and courtesy of Nick. This is the sitting area, and the kitchen wraps around. You can see the photograph there. Many of the photographs, actually, you'll see in the house are original canvases by Ryan. I love that one in particular. It reminds me of my mother. Come back around. The ceilings are extremely high. Old houses are designed with high ceilings, also with a purpose. This house would have been built in the 1800s and way before air conditioning. And so the high ceilings played a role in keeping the house cool. The way it's situated, the doors would have opened or been open for the breeze to come in. That's the small bathroom that has the pocket doors off the kitchen. And the fireplace coming on around the kitchen area. This house is much different than my house in Columbia or Ryan's house, although Ryan's house is quite large, actually, at right around 3,000 square feet. This house is approximately 4,000 square feet, upstairs and down. Of course, that does not include the basement or the attic. And it's a large house, but it doesn't overwhelm me. I love it, and it always feels like home when I'm here. come back around to show you the garden area. It's my view outside my kitchen, and I do love that as well. One day I hope to renovate the garage and make an apartment out of that. But that's a few years down the road. The cabinets I've kept that were in the house, I actually like them. So I have not done anything to those. I never know what my mind might decide one day to the other, but right now I'm quite content with the cabinets. I'm coming on around again, and this is the formal dining room. I did paint this room, and that wide opening there has the very wide pocket doors, very heavy, for privacy, for dining. And the living room there is what we started off with, and that is actually the formal living room. And I think I showed you the den off of the bedroom. I call that the gentleman's smoking area, although I don't allow smoking, and neither Ryan and I smoke, but it just seemed like a good name to call it. And on more than one occasion, even as a grown-up, Ryan slid down these rails. And I fuss at him every time he does it, but I miss him when he's not doing it. I don't get to see him up here quite as much as I used to. And that's a project. I need to paint my steps. Painting the interior of this house will be a major undertaking. And I've had so many guests, it's somewhat difficult to find the time to do it. But again, eventually I may be old, but I still have a lot of energy, so. And I'll be honest with you, I really enjoy doing things with the house. This is looking out my window as I back up. I'm not the best videographer, but this is right about halfway coming up the stairs. I do get my exercise here. I think altogether, the last time I counted, I think it was 36 stairs that will come from the backyard area to the upstairs. And I can give you an idea of that. That's leading back downstairs, and the landing, and then it wraps on around. This area it's a hallway actually, leads into one of the bathrooms. And the hallway's actually quite a large area. I use that when I have guests to play cards. And then we have the bedrooms upstairs. This bedroom I always dedicate to my dear friend Sue. And it has her influence because she lives in Taiwan. And so I purchased that photograph with her in mind, and when she comes, this is her room. And she never comes often enough. I so enjoy and have enjoyed meeting the people who she's brought from Taiwan to stay with me. And this bedroom has its own bath. I should have closed the door. I did invest a bit of money in having this bathroom redone. And it's always difficult to decide if you're going to, or to what extent you'll redo an old house. So much of its charm is the fact that it's old. And so I have seen people come in and totally redo an old house, and I just have problems with that because, you know, if you want a new house, you go buy a new house. And I never really wanted a new house. I've rarely lived in a new house. Even the times when Ryan was little and we were moving from city to city in South Carolina, we always owned old homes. Ryan's house was built in the 1930s. The cottage, about the same time. I love this old bed. And I decorated this room with that photograph in mind because, of course, the trees reminded me of Ryan. We'll come this way. This leads back into the bathroom and then to a bedroom with doors that actually share this bathroom. This is the old tub. I've done nothing with that. And back around again, you'll see the window that comes up the stairs. All right, we'll try to come back in here. There's just a few more rooms and the tour of our old inspiration home will be complete, except for the basement and the attic, and that will be a video for a different time. This room has twin beds, and this is an interesting room because these old beds I purchased from Ryan's father's childhood friend, and they were his beds that he utilized. And so they're special to me for that reason. Everything in the house has meaning. I'm not much about having anything in a home that has no meaning. And of course Ryan is not either, so you hear the floors creaking. Also, with this room, you'll see the photographs that I utilized. They're all landscapes, and so many of the photographs that I have are of churches or trees. If Ryan didn't take the photographs, they remind me of him. All right, to give you a vantage point, there's the hall again. And now I am coming into an area that I spend a lot of time in. This is the upstairs den. I always think of my friend when I see that chair. Ryan says that's his chair. When Nick comes, it's his. The most comfortable chair in the house. And I always think of my friend Kathy whenever I look at it because I purchased that through her. I guess I should think of Kathy in a lot of ways, because this particular room has furniture that I did actually bring from home, and the old leather couch and the chair that I had purchased from Marty Ray's so many years ago, and they're as comfortable and they look as good as they did way back in the day. I probably had those, goodness, since Ryan was a little boy, so quite possibly, I know I've had them at least 20 years. Somewhat amazing when I think about it. Ryan's chess set, one of many. This one actually is a very fine chess set that his uncle gave him, and we use it. I say we, I'm not much at chess, but he uses it. He's quite good. And I do love that photograph. All right, well, that is our tour of the Inspiration House. And I love this home. And it's exactly what it feels like. There's never been a day that I've not been in the house that it hasn't felt like a home. I hope you're enjoying your weekend in your home. Until the next time, have a great day.